Are you unknowingly sabotaging your appeal? In today's video, we're exposing the 10 attitudes that make you seem weak in the eyes of women, and I'll share powerful Stoic techniques to transform your mindset. Ready to flip the script and become truly irresistible? Let's dive in. Number 1. Constantly seeking validation from women. There's nothing more unattractive to a woman than a man who constantly seeks her approval. It signals insecurity, a lack of self-respect, and, worst of all, emotional dependence. When you put a woman on a pedestal and make her validation the source of your confidence, you hand over your power. You become needy, desperate for her attention, and ultimately less desirable. Women are naturally drawn to strength, mental, emotional, and physical. A man who is self-assured, who doesn't need a woman's approval to feel worthy, is a man who commands respect. Think about it. When you constantly ask, "Do you like me?" or "Was that funny?" or "Do I look good?" you're not only showing doubt in yourself, but you're also burdening her with the responsibility of making you feel okay. No one, not even the most patient and caring woman, wants to babysit a grown man's self-esteem. Confidence is attractive because it shows you don't need external validation, and when you stop needing it, you actually get more of it naturally. Women are intrigued by men who are sure of themselves, not those who beg for reassurance at every turn. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our sense of self-worth should come from within, not from others. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Seeking validation from women is an outside event. It's something you can't control. What you can control is your own mindset, your own beliefs about yourself, and your own confidence. Instead of looking to women to approve of you, approve of yourself first. Be the kind of man you would admire, and others will naturally follow suit. When you rely on external validation, you give women the ability to manipulate you, even unintentionally. If a woman realizes that your mood, self-esteem, and entire sense of identity are tied to her words and actions, she holds all the power in the relationship. And whether consciously or subconsciously, she'll lose respect for you. Women don't respect men they can control. They respect men who stand firm in who they are, regardless of how others perceive them. The irony is that the less you seek validation, the more attractive you become. When a man walks into a room with quiet confidence, not looking for approval, not desperate for attention, women notice. They see the way he moves, the way he carries himself, the way he's comfortable in his own skin. That is the energy that makes a man irresistible. On the other hand, the guy who constantly seeks validation, who needs to be reassured that he's funny, smart, attractive, or worthy, he repels the very thing he desires. So, how do you stop seeking validation? First, start catching yourself when you're fishing for compliments or approval. Every time you feel the urge to ask a woman for reassurance, stop and remind yourself, "I don't need her approval. I approve of myself." This simple shift in mindset can change everything. Second, build your own self-worth through action. Confidence isn't something you magically acquire, it's something you earn. Set goals, accomplish them, push yourself beyond your comfort zone, and prove to yourself that you are valuable. When you respect yourself, others will too. Lastly, embrace the Stoic mindset of indifference to praise or criticism. A strong man doesn't crumble when he isn't validated, nor does he become arrogant when he is. He remains steady, grounded in his own self-belief. When you cultivate this attitude, you stop needing validation from women, or anyone for that matter, and that's when you truly become powerful in their eyes. Number 2. Oversharing your emotions. When we talk about oversharing your emotions, we're really delving into a habit that, while born from a place of vulnerability, can actually undermine the strength you project. Imagine you're sitting in a conversation and instead of offering a measured response, you launch into a monologue about every single insecurity, every small disappointment, and every fleeting doubt. At first glance, it might seem like you're just being honest or open, but what you're really doing is blurring the lines between genuine connection and an overwhelming need for reassurance. Oversharing becomes a way of seeking constant validation rather than building self-reliance, and it's precisely this reliance that Stoic techniques aim to eliminate. When you expose every crevice of your emotional landscape, you inadvertently signal that your stability is conditional on others' approval, and that's a perception that can weaken your presence in the eyes of women and anyone else looking for a balanced, resilient partner. Consider the notion that emotions are like currency. They have value, but if you spend them all at once without discretion, you're left with nothing to invest in critical moments. Stoicism teaches us the importance of emotional economy, preserving your inner reserves so you can handle challenges with calm authority. When you overshare, you're not only depleting that reserve, but you're also inviting others to become the keepers of your emotional bank. In relationships, this dynamic shifts the focus away from mutual respect and healthy interdependence, and instead positions you as someone who might be too emotionally available, which paradoxically can come off as weak. Women, like anyone else, are drawn to partners who maintain a balance between vulnerability and strength. Someone who can manage their inner storms without broadcasting every detail. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or putting on a mask. It's about cultivating a mindful approach to emotional expression. In practice, this means recognizing that there's a time and place for deep conversations, but there's also wisdom in holding back until you truly trust the environment or the person you're speaking to. Imagine a scenario where you're recounting a rough day at work. Instead of diving headfirst into every negative thought, pause, reflect, and decide which emotions are best shared in the moment versus those that are better processed internally. This selective sharing isn't about being secretive, it's about practicing emotional restraint and discipline, qualities highly regarded in Stoic philosophy. By mastering this, you shift the narrative from being a perpetual seeker of sympathy to being someone who can offer measured insight, thereby commanding respect. The challenge often lies in the impulse to over-communicate, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. Emotions, particularly in their raw form, have an undeniable pull, but Stoic techniques encourage us to harness that pull, to transform it into something that fuels rational thought rather than drowning it out. Picture your emotions as a wild horse. Left unchecked, it can lead you on a dangerous ride, but with proper training and control, it becomes a powerful ally. This analogy underscores the importance of self-discipline. Each time you catch yourself about to divulge more than necessary, you're presented with an opportunity to practice restraint. Over time, these moments of controlled expression not only build your inner strength, but also enhance the quality of your interactions by keeping the focus on meaningful exchanges rather than exhaustive recitations of personal strife. It's also crucial to understand that the impulse to overshare often stems from deeper insecurities. When you feel a void that only external validation can fill, every emotional revelation becomes a desperate bid for connection. But Stoicism teaches us that true connection begins with self-reliance and the inner conviction that your worth isn't defined by how much you disclose. Instead of turning your conversations into a confession booth, channel that energy into building your own inner fortitude. Reflect on your experiences privately, journal your thoughts, or engage in meditative practices that help you process emotions without immediately seeking an external outlet. Over time, this self-sufficiency not only reduces the urge to overshare, but also projects an aura of stability and strength that is far more attractive in any relationship. In many social interactions, especially in the context of dating or building new relationships, the initial impression is formed by the balance you strike between openness and self-restraint. Oversharing can inadvertently shift the dynamic, causing potential partners to question your emotional stability. They may wonder if your need to constantly express every detail is a sign of deeper emotional turmoil, or if it simply reflects a lack of personal boundaries. In contrast, a person who practices controlled expression is often perceived as having a rich inner life that they manage with confidence, thereby drawing others in. The art lies in letting your genuine self shine through without overwhelming the listener, an approach that not only fosters healthier relationships, but also aligns with the timeless principles of Stoic thought. Furthermore, the concept of oversharing isn't limited to intimate relationships. It affects professional settings as well. In work environments, where maintaining a calm and collected demeanor is crucial, the tendency to unload every personal struggle can undermine your credibility and authority. When you share too much, you may inadvertently blur the lines between personal and professional boundaries, leaving colleagues unsure about where you stand. By keeping your emotional disclosures measured and contextually appropriate, you preserve the respect and professionalism that is essential for both career advancement and effective leadership. This practice reinforces the Stoic ideal of inner tranquility, enabling you to navigate challenges without the distraction of constant emotional turbulence. Ultimately, learning to master the art of emotional restraint is a journey towards self-improvement and inner strength. It requires a conscious decision to reframe how you view vulnerability, not as a weakness, but as a quality that, when managed wisely, can coexist with strength. Oversharing, when left unchecked, diminishes that strength by placing your emotional well-being entirely in the hands of others. Instead, by adopting Stoic practices such as reflection, mindfulness, and controlled expression, you reclaim your power. You transform every interaction into an opportunity to demonstrate resilience and thoughtful self-management. The impact of this transformation is profound. Not only do you become more attractive to potential partners by projecting confidence and independence, but you also cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth that isn't contingent on external validation. In the end, the goal is to create a dynamic where your emotional experiences enrich your life without overwhelming it. Each emotion you feel has value, but the true test of character lies in how you choose to share, and more importantly, when you choose to keep it to yourself. It's about discerning the difference between necessary openness and excessive vulnerability, and about understanding that the strength of your character is measured not by the quantity of your disclosures, but by the quality of your self-control. Embracing this philosophy not only refines your interpersonal relationships, but also aligns you with a timeless tradition of self-mastery that resonates deeply with Stoic wisdom. By recalibrating your approach to emotional expression, you invite a more balanced, empowered way of living. You begin to see that every moment of oversharing is an opportunity to pause, reflect, and choose a response that upholds your inner dignity. This isn't a call to become emotionally distant or unfeeling, but rather an invitation to cultivate a reservoir of strength from which you can draw during life's inevitable storms. In doing so, you ensure that when you do share your emotions, it's with a clarity and purpose that enhances your relationships rather than undermines them. It's a shift from being reactive to being reflective, a move that not only commands respect, but also inspires trust. Through this process, you may find that the habit of oversharing gradually fades away, replaced by a more measured, confident expression of your true self. This evolution is not instantaneous, nor is it devoid of setbacks, but each step toward emotional discipline is a victory in itself. It signals a commitment to self-growth and a recognition that the power of your presence is deeply rooted in the balance between heart and mind. In a world that often celebrates raw emotion without boundaries, your ability to navigate your inner landscape with care and precision will set you apart as someone who truly embodies strength. Ultimately, the journey toward mastering your emotions is as much about internal discovery as it is about external perception. It's about understanding that vulnerability, when expressed wisely, becomes a testament to your inner resilience. Oversharing, in contrast, dilutes that message and can cast doubt on your capacity to handle life's complexities. By choosing to share only what is necessary and holding back what is excessive, you assert control over your narrative. You let others see the parts of you that matter, those carefully curated facets that speak to a depth of character, a mind trained in the art of measured expression, and a heart that, while open, is anchored in its own strength. Number 3. Lack of purpose in life. When you think about what makes a man undeniably attractive and strong in the eyes of women, purpose stands as one of the most critical traits. A lack of purpose in life isn't just a vague feeling of drifting aimlessly. It's a fundamental shortcoming that chips away at your identity, your motivation, and ultimately, your potential to be seen as a leader in your own life. It's not merely about setting goals or dreaming big. It's about developing an inner compass that guides every decision and action with clarity and conviction. Without this intrinsic drive, you risk becoming a shell of your true self, allowing external circumstances to dictate your worth rather than the resolute determination that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. Imagine waking up each day without a clear vision, feeling as though life's tapestry is woven with threads of uncertainty and unfulfilled potential. This absence of direction isn't just a personal failure. It's a signal to those around you, particularly women who value men with a strong sense of mission and resilience. In a world where authenticity and decisiveness are prized, a man without purpose may inadvertently send the message that he is comfortable with mediocrity, that he lacks the ambition to challenge himself, and by extension, to support a partner in striving for greatness. The impact is profound. Relationships thrive on shared dreams and the mutual pursuit of meaningful goals. And without a clear purpose, that spark of ambition is extinguished before it has the chance to ignite a shared future. Embracing purpose requires introspection and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths about your life. It means asking yourself the hard questions. What do I truly value? What legacy do I want to leave behind? How can I contribute in a way that matters not just to me, but to those I care about? This journey isn't marked by grand gestures overnight. It's built on consistent, deliberate actions. Every choice you make should align with a broader vision of your life, transforming mundane routines into stepping stones towards something greater. This process is deeply rooted in the principles of Stoicism, which teaches us that control lies not in external circumstances, but in our response to them. By cultivating inner strength and purpose, you not only build resilience, but also create an aura of self-assuredness that is magnetic in any relationship. When you lack purpose, you give up the chance to define your narrative. Instead, you become a passive observer in your own life, letting opportunities slip by while you remain anchored in indecision and self-doubt. This stagnation doesn't go unnoticed. Women, as well as others who seek to build a meaningful connection, are drawn to those who exhibit a sense of direction and passion. It's about the energy you radiate. A purposeful man naturally exudes confidence and an infectious drive that elevates those around him. On the contrary, the absence of purpose can make you seem complacent, as if you are waiting for life to happen rather than actively creating your destiny. Building purpose isn't a one-time effort. It's a continuous commitment to self-improvement and reflection. It involves setting both short-term and long-term goals that challenge you and push you out of your comfort zone. It's about aligning your actions with your values and embracing the inevitable setbacks as lessons rather than failures. Every experience, no matter how trivial it may seem, contributes to your overarching story if you allow it to inform your growth. In doing so, you not only elevate your own life, but also become a beacon for others who may be searching for their own direction. This transformation is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, the relentless pursuit of virtue through self-discipline, clarity of thought, and the steadfast pursuit of what truly matters. In conclusion, the lack of purpose is more than a personal deficit. It's a barrier that prevents you from becoming the best version of yourself. When you operate without a clear purpose, you diminish your own value and, inadvertently, the potential to inspire and connect with those around you. Whether it's in the context of personal relationships or broader social dynamics, a well-defined purpose is the cornerstone of true strength. It propels you forward, fuels your ambition, and creates a life narrative that is both compelling and impactful. So, if you find yourself wandering without direction, remember that the journey toward purpose begins with a single decisive step, a commitment to self-reflection, goal setting, and the courage to pursue a vision that elevates not just your own life, but the lives of those fortunate enough to share in your journey. Number 4, being too available. Imagine a scenario where every time you pick up your phone, there's an expectation, an unspoken contract, that you're always there, ready to respond, ready to adapt to someone else's schedule, moods, or emergencies. In this modern age, where communication is instant and expectations run high, being too available can quickly become a silent signal that your time, energy, and emotional space are undervalued. When you're constantly on standby, you begin to sacrifice your own priorities, passions, and even moments of self-reflection. Instead of maintaining a healthy balance, you may end up in a cycle where your worth is measured by your readiness to serve, rather than by the value you inherently hold. This behavior isn't just about physical availability. It's about a mental state where you continuously allow others to dictate the rhythm of your day. It's as if you're wearing an open invitation that says, "Come anytime, your needs always come first." But when you overcommit your time and energy, you risk diluting the quality of your interactions, leaving little room for genuine, meaningful engagement. Adopting a Stoic mindset, you learn to see that your time is finite and precious, a commodity that shouldn't be freely given away without discernment. Instead, you begin to set boundaries that protect your inner peace and help you focus on what truly matters in your life. In essence, being too available can lead to a subtle yet profound shift in how others perceive you. It creates an imbalance where your self-worth becomes entangled with how much you give away, rather than how much you truly value yourself. The art of maintaining availability is not about shutting people out. It's about cultivating an environment where mutual respect thrives. When you are selective about your availability, you transform your interactions from obligatory exchanges into meaningful connections. This discernment, often rooted in the principles of Stoicism, teaches you that it's not about denying others your time. It's about honoring your own time first, so that every moment you share is intentional and significant. Ultimately, the key lies in understanding that your availability should be a reflection of your values and priorities, not a default setting determined by the expectations of others. By embracing a balanced approach, you create space for both your own growth and the possibility of deeper, more authentic relationships. In doing so, you not only preserve your energy and focus, but also communicate a powerful message. Your time is valuable, and so are you. Number 5. Complaining and blaming others. In the midst of everyday challenges and relentless pressures, the habit of complaining and blaming others becomes a subtle yet potent roadblock to true empowerment and growth. When you constantly vocalize grievances about circumstances or point fingers at those around you, you inadvertently abdicate the power to change your own situation. Instead of viewing difficulties as opportunities for self-improvement, you allow yourself to sink into a mindset where external factors become the scapegoats for every setback. This not only diminishes your personal accountability, but also signals to those around you a lack of resilience and inner strength. It's all too easy to become ensnared in a cycle where every problem is someone else's fault, and every mistake is shifted away from you, reinforcing a narrative that you are perpetually at the mercy of external forces. However, when you adopt a stance that recognizes your own role in the unfolding of events, be it through minor misjudgments or larger oversights, you open the door to genuine self-reflection and constructive change. The practice of complaining doesn't solve problems, it merely amplifies them, turning minor irritations into monumental obstacles that hinder progress. Moreover, the act of blaming others creates a barrier between you and those who could potentially support you in navigating life's challenges. It breeds an environment of mistrust and negativity where solutions are obscured by the fog of perpetual dissatisfaction. In personal relationships and social interactions, this behavior is particularly detrimental because it undercuts the very essence of mutual respect and understanding. When you're quick to point fingers, you send a message that you're unwilling to confront the discomfort of your own shortcomings, thus stifling any opportunity for genuine connection. By contrast, embracing responsibility, acknowledging both your strengths and areas for improvement, empowers you to transform setbacks into stepping stones. This shift in perspective is not an act of self-blame, but a courageous move towards personal growth. It means looking in the mirror and accepting that while the external world may present formidable challenges, the true measure of your character is how you respond to them. Every moment spent complaining is a moment lost from the journey of self-improvement, a delay in taking decisive action that could steer you towards a more fulfilling path. It's about recognizing that while you might not control every event, you certainly control your reaction to it. In doing so, you convert potential energy from negativity into a driving force for change. Complaining is a seductive trap. It offers a temporary sense of relief, a way to vent frustrations without demanding effort or introspection. Yet, it ultimately leaves you stuck in a loop of inaction where the root causes of your struggles remain unaddressed. Blaming others further cements this cycle, making it harder to break free and learn from your experiences. When you take ownership of your role in any situation, however minor or significant, you begin to reclaim the narrative of your life. Instead of viewing life's obstacles as insurmountable barriers imposed by the world, you start seeing them as challenges that you have the power to overcome. This internal shift not only boosts your self-esteem, but also enhances the way others perceive you. Strength, in its most authentic form, emerges from the ability to face adversity head-on without resorting to excuses or finger-pointing. It is cultivated through a commitment to personal responsibility, which in turn inspires trust and admiration. By choosing to break free from the habit of complaining and blaming, you align yourself with a path that values progress, learning, and self-determination over victimhood. In this journey, every setback becomes a lesson, every criticism an opportunity, and every hardship a catalyst for becoming a more resilient, resourceful individual. Ultimately, the decision to stop complaining and cease blaming others is not merely a behavioral change. It is a profound transformation of mindset that redefines what it means to be truly strong and self-reliant. Number 6. Trying too hard to impress her. When you find yourself obsessively overcompensating in every conversation, every gesture, and every smile just to catch her attention, you're inadvertently revealing a hidden vulnerability rather than the strength of your character. Overextending your efforts to impress her often turns into a double-edged sword. On one side, you might momentarily capture her interest, but on the other, you risk coming off as desperate or inauthentic. It's not that you want to show your best self, but rather you're masking your true personality behind a facade meticulously built from exaggerated anecdotes, rehearsed compliments, and a relentless drive to outdo your last attempt at wooing her. Instead of naturally sharing the qualities that truly make you unique, you end up displaying a curated version of yourself that is more about what you think she wants to see rather than who you genuinely are. In the realm of Stoic wisdom, the focus is placed on inner resilience and self-acceptance, qualities that are far more compelling than any forced display of charm. When you concentrate on cultivating your own virtues, you create an aura of self-assurance that naturally draws others to you without the need for constant validation. It's like trying to run a marathon in borrowed shoes. No matter how much you push yourself, the discomfort is evident to everyone around you. The pursuit of external approval, especially when it's overdone, disrupts the balance between who you are and who you're pretending to be. This dissonance is often sensed instinctively by women who appreciate sincerity and confidence over an elaborate performance. When your actions are driven by the need to impress rather than by an authentic desire to connect, you signal that your self-worth is tethered to her reaction, creating a precarious dependency that is neither healthy nor sustainable in the long run. Consider the moments when you laugh a little too loudly at jokes that aren't genuinely funny, or when you boast about accomplishments in a way that seems more like a desperate pitch than a casual conversation. These behaviors, no matter how well-intentioned, are like echoes of an internal insecurity that resonates louder than any genuine personality trait. Instead of inviting her into a space of mutual respect and authentic interaction, they create a subtle barrier, a reminder that you're more focused on her approval than on presenting a balanced, self-assured version of yourself. This not only diminishes your own self-respect, but can also leave her feeling that your attention is conditional rather than intrinsic. The Stoic approach encourages us to understand that true strength comes from within, from a deep-seated confidence that doesn't require external reinforcement. When you shift your focus from trying to impress to simply being, you naturally exude a calm confidence that makes you far more attractive in a real and lasting way. Imagine a scenario where you engage in a conversation without the heavy burden of expectation, where your words and actions are a direct reflection of your own values and experiences. In such a moment, the conversation flows effortlessly, free of the need to perform or prove yourself. This is the kind of interaction that fosters genuine connection, a dynamic where both parties appreciate each other for who they truly are, rather than for a meticulously crafted image. The freedom that comes from abandoning the pressure to impress allows you to listen more, to observe, and to react in ways that are spontaneous and heartfelt. Over time, this approach not only builds stronger bonds, but also reinforces your own sense of self-worth, independent of any external validation. It's a subtle yet powerful transformation, one that aligns perfectly with the Stoic philosophy of living in accordance with one's true nature and focusing on what is within your control. The long-term consequence of trying too hard to impress is that you begin to lose touch with your intrinsic identity. Each overblown gesture or forced compliment chips away at the authenticity that makes you unique. Instead of becoming known for the genuine qualities you possess, your passions, your beliefs, your quiet moments of introspection, you become a composite of exaggerated traits designed solely to win approval. This not only exhausts you emotionally, but also creates an unhealthy dynamic where your self-esteem becomes contingent on her reaction. In contrast, when you embrace your true self without the compulsion to overperform, you pave the way for a more stable and enriching connection. The Stoics remind us that the only thing truly under our control is our own behavior and mindset. By investing in self-improvement and inner strength, you allow your natural charisma to emerge, which is far more sustainable and attractive than any pretense ever could be. In practical terms, this means spending more time cultivating your interests, refining your skills, and working on personal growth, rather than obsessing over how you appear in her eyes. Every moment spent in pursuit of an external validation is a moment diverted from building the kind of inner fortitude that leads to long-lasting fulfillment. When you focus on your own journey, whether it's advancing in your career, developing a hobby, or simply reflecting on your life's values, you inadvertently become a person of substance. Such substance is magnetic. It attracts those who appreciate depth over superficiality. This shift from seeking approval to nurturing self-respect is not merely a change in behavior, but a fundamental transformation in how you view yourself and your interactions. It's about understanding that your worth isn't measured by her impressed glances or the fleeting compliments, but by the steadfast principles and genuine character that you embody. Ultimately, trying too hard to impress her is a distraction from the more rewarding task of becoming the best version of yourself. It's a trap that diverts energy from genuine self-discovery and the pursuit of a balanced, fulfilling life. The Stoic path teaches us that true contentment comes from aligning our actions with our inner values, not from the transient applause of those around us. When you relinquish the need to perform, you grant yourself the freedom to be authentic, to engage in interactions that are honest and unforced. This freedom, in turn, cultivates an environment where relationships can thrive on mutual respect and shared values, rather than on a superficial contest of who can impress the other the most. In this light, stepping away from the urge to constantly prove yourself isn't just an act of self-preservation. It's a declaration of self-assurance, a commitment to living life on your own terms, and an invitation to others to connect with you on a level that transcends the ordinary. Number 7. Being afraid of confrontation. When you avoid confrontation, you send a clear message that you lack the confidence to stand your ground. It's not about seeking conflict, but about having the strength and integrity to face difficult situations head-on. Women respect men who can assert themselves, who are capable of standing firm on their beliefs and values, especially when the stakes are high. If you're always backing down, apologizing unnecessarily, or shying away from tough conversations, it reflects a lack of self-assurance. This fear of confrontation might stem from a desire to keep the peace, but in reality, it undermines your authority. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can handle discomfort and navigate conflict with poise and strength. It's about demonstrating that you have the emotional and mental fortitude to protect not just yourself, but the people and values that matter to you. When you avoid confrontation, it doesn't just weaken you in the eyes of women, it creates doubt. It makes her question whether you're strong enough to face challenges together, whether you can stand up for her in moments when it matters most. Respect is the foundation of attraction, and once that respect starts to erode because of your fear of confrontation, it's hard to regain. Avoiding confrontation isn't the path to peace. It's the path to being perceived as weak and unreliable. Women want someone who can be calm under pressure, who can assert his boundaries without hesitation, and who doesn't shy away when difficult conversations arise. A man who embraces confrontation, not for the sake of argument, but as a way of maintaining integrity and strength, will always stand out as someone worth respecting, and ultimately, someone worth admiring. Number 8. Lack of self-discipline. Lack of self-discipline is one of the most unattractive traits a man can have in the eyes of a woman. It signals a lack of control, purpose, and reliability, three things that make a man truly stand out. A man without discipline is like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly at the mercy of the wind and waves. Women can sense this, and it immediately lowers their perception of you. They don't just want a man who talks big, they want a man who follows through. If you set goals but never stick to them, if you make promises but rarely keep them, or if you let distractions, laziness, and comfort dictate your life, you are showing weakness. A woman may not always be able to articulate it, but she can feel it. Self-discipline isn't about being robotic or overly strict with yourself. It's about having control over your impulses, emotions, and decisions. It's about proving to yourself and to others that you can stay committed to something even when it gets hard. Think about the men who inspire respect, the athletes who train relentlessly, the entrepreneurs who work through setbacks, the soldiers who push their limits, or even the everyday man who wakes up early, takes care of his responsibilities, and doesn't let temporary pleasure dictate his long-term success. These men have discipline, and that discipline translates to strength, reliability, and leadership, qualities women instinctively respect. When you lack discipline, your life becomes chaotic. You procrastinate, you make excuses, and you seek instant gratification instead of long-term growth. Maybe you say you'll start working out, but you quit after a week. Maybe you plan to improve your finances, but you keep spending on things you don't need. Maybe you promise to be more present in your relationships, but you keep getting distracted by social media or other meaningless entertainment. These patterns don't just affect your personal growth, they affect how women see you. If she notices that you can't even stick to your own word, how can she trust you to handle the challenges of a relationship, a family, or life itself? Women are biologically wired to look for strength in a man, not just physical strength, but mental and emotional strength. A man with discipline shows that he has control over his life. He can handle stress. He doesn't let emotions rule him. He can make decisions that are best for his future, even if they're difficult. On the other hand, a man without discipline comes across as unreliable, weak, and ultimately unattractive. It's not about having a perfect life. It's about showing that you are actively working towards something, that you have direction and control over your own path. Stoicism teaches that discipline is the foundation of true freedom. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In other words, if you lack self-discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You become a man who is constantly reacting rather than taking charge. Women don't want a man who is at the mercy of his own weaknesses. They want a man who is grounded, who has standards for himself, and who follows through on them. If you say you'll wake up early, do it. If you say you'll work on your goals, stop making excuses. If you commit to something, honor that commitment. Every time you keep your word, to yourself and to others, you build discipline, and that discipline translates into respect. The reality is, life will test you. There will be temptations, distractions, and moments when quitting seems easier than pushing forward. But discipline is built in those moments. When you push through laziness, when you choose growth over comfort, when you do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, you separate yourself from the average. And trust me, Women notice. A man who lacks discipline will always struggle to earn respect from others, from women, and most importantly, from himself. Number 9. Overthinking. Every interaction. Overthinking is one of the biggest confidence killers when interacting with women. Instead of being present, you get lost in your head, analyzing every word, wondering if you said the wrong thing, or predicting rejection before it even happens. This creates an anxious energy that women can sense instantly. You hesitate before speaking, second-guess your words, and come across as unsure of yourself. The problem isn't what you're saying, it's the self-doubt behind it. Women are naturally drawn to men who are comfortable in their own skin. They don't want a rehearsed, perfect conversation. They want an authentic, engaging exchange. When you overthink, you take yourself out of the moment. Instead of truly listening and responding naturally, you're too focused on crafting the right response. This makes conversations feel forced, awkward, or disconnected. You might think you're being careful, but to her, it feels like something is off. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. You can't control how someone will react to you, but you can control how present and engaged you are. The moment you stop worrying about the outcome and start focusing on the interaction itself, everything changes. You stop seeing conversations as tests and start enjoying them for what they are, an opportunity to connect. The solution? Shift your focus outward. Stop worrying about how you're coming across and start paying attention to her. Listen, ask questions, and respond naturally. Women don't remember every word you say. They remember how you make them feel. If you bring an energy of confidence and ease, they'll respond to that. If you bring an energy of hesitation and self-doubt, they'll pick up on that too. Let go of the need to be perfect. Embrace imperfection, stay present, and trust yourself. The less you overthink, the more attractive and natural you become. Number 10. Letting fear of rejection control. Your fear of rejection is more than just avoiding the word no. It's a mindset that keeps you from embracing growth, authenticity, and real connection. When you let this fear control you, you stay stuck in your comfort zone, preventing you from taking risks and experiencing life's best moments. Rejection is inevitable, but it's also necessary. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a part of the journey that leads to something better. By avoiding rejection, you become someone you're not, and people can sense that. Women are drawn to men who are confident, authentic, and unafraid to take risks, even if it means facing rejection. Fear of rejection leads to playing games and hiding your true self, which is never attractive. Instead of fearing rejection, see it as an opportunity for growth. The more you face it without letting it define you, the less power it has over you. Rejection doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Stop letting fear control you and start embracing the lessons rejection brings. Only then can you move toward the life and love you deserve. That's a wrap, gentlemen. If you're ready to ditch these weak attitudes and embrace the strength of Stoic mastery, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more game-changing insights. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I'll catch you in the next video.